Hey there. Welcome into the Ben Maynard program. Thanks for being here. Before we get started, a little bit of housekeeping to take care of. As you know, this program is available wherever you get your podcasts. So just search the Ben Maynard program. Boom, it's right there. And subscribe. Okay. Anytime you subscribe, you get notification on new episodes as they drop. Um, you can also leave a 5-star review. How's that? I'd appreciate it. Next, if you can't resist a little bit of this right here, and you're watching on YouTube, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Again, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. You'll get your notifications anytime a new episode drops. Second, you have to give me a thumbs up. Okay. Got to give me a thumbs up. I dig the likes. And then next, you have to leave a comment. I appreciate all your comments. I reply to all your comments. So please, that would be swell if you get that taken care of. And then you have to tell 1,000 of your family and friends. All right. Tell them about this cool podcast. The guy's kind of an idiot named Ben Maynard, but it's pretty cool. All right. You get some good stuff, a little entertainment, all that. So just get it done. Tell 1,000 of your family and friends. Okay. Let's see. Last but not least, follow me on Instagram, simply Ben Maynard Program. And then also follow me on TikTok, the Ben Maynard Program. All right. So plenty of ways to take in this show for your dancing and listening pleasure. And with that, let's just dive right into it. Okay. Let's see. Wednesday of this week, Wednesday, September the 10th. September the 10th celebrated the 50th anniversary of the release of this album right here, Kiss Alive. Many of you probably have this. For those of you who don't out there, stick around because this is cool stuff. This album right here, Kiss Alive, it's the 4th album in the band's catalog, and it's their first live album. I say first live because they've got about 6 of them. So it's all good stuff. But first live album in their catalog. And it's coming off the heels of their first 3 releases, their debut album, self-titled, the Hotter Than Hell album, both those released in 1974. And then earlier this year, in March of 75, they released their 3rd studio album, which was Dressed to Kill. None of those albums really did much for sales. And at the time that Dressed to Kill was being recorded, the record label Casablanca was in pretty bad financial shape. So the president of the company, owner of the company, Neil Bogart, he took the task of, or he tasked himself with actually being the producer on the album. Now, I'll say he didn't do a bad job. Hang on, something's on my screen here. Let me get it off. Pops up on my side, but not your side, but it's distracting. Okay, it's gone. Anyhow, so I have to say, of those first 3 studio albums, Dressed to Kill does have the best production on it. Yeah. So, kudos to Neil for getting that done. And Rock and Roll All Night was the lone single, but at this time, nothing was working for the band. Not in regards to sales, nothing seemed to be working for the band. So let's fast forward to September of 75. The financial situation of Casablanca was unchanged, and in fact, it was probably worse. The band themselves, they were considering leaving the label. This album here, this was actually a last-ditch effort to show the public, or to break the band, and show the music lovers out there what this band was really all about. So the thing is that in 75, Kiss had established themselves as a great live act, a spectacle to see. People were talking about their live show. They had been tossed off of a few tours because the headliners felt as though they were being upstaged by this young, hungry, very aggressive band. However, it wasn't. It wasn't translating to record sales, and I think a lot of that had to do with the the sound difference between their live performance and what was happening in the studio was vastly different, especially on those first two albums. As I said, the debut album and Hotter Than Hell, the production was really bad. It's just really bad production. I mean, it's kind of neat to go back and listen to them a little bit just for nostalgia reasons. But the production is terrible. The band seems to almost be playing in slow motion too. So it did pick up with Dress to Kill, and it showed in the sales. The first album was terrible as far as sales. Same thing with Hotter Than Hell. Dress to Kill improved a little bit, but still not enough to to where the label could actually afford to pay the band royalties on their stuff. So it just, I don't know, one of those things. Now you take Kiss Alive and drop the needle on this thing, and it's like nothing that you'd ever heard before to this point. You know, J.R. Smalling, you drop the needle and J.R. Smalling belts out, "You wanted the best and you got it. The hottest band of the land, Kiss." And then it rips right into to Deuce, and you are off and running. And it's like, whoa, holy cow. It's just, like I said, it's something like you just haven't heard to this point. And I know that the band changed that mantra. They changed their introduction afterwards. As a matter of fact, on Alive 2, that introduction changes. And I'm sure a lot of it had to do with this album. We'll get into it. But it changed from "you wanted the best, you got it" to "you wanted the best and you got the best." And instead of "the hottest band in the land," it went "the hottest band in the world." And which in 77, that was absolutely the case. So let's take a look at this thing. All right. Great cover. And I've got like 3 copies of this. I don't know how or why. And I went and I ordered another one on eBay, hoping to have it before I hit record on this episode. It didn't happen. And the reason why I had done that is I thought I was going through these. I don't know, maybe I just can't see anymore, but I needed the booklet. I needed the book that came along with the album, and I didn't think I had it. So I ordered another one. Cost me $35 plus shipping. I think it cost me a total of like $40, $42, $44, something like that. And I thought I was going to get it, but I didn't. So shortly before I come into the studio here and start getting ready to roll, I thought, okay, one last ditch effort. Let's grab a copy of Kiss Alive. I grabbed the first one. In fact, it's right here. Let me see. There it is. There it is. I grabbed this one and I'm looking through it, and it's got the original paper sleeves for the albums, and it's all good and everything. And it's, I mean, look, it's not in great shape, but the thing is 50 years old too. But I didn't want to break this one out because it's got a sticker right here, not on the cellophane, on the album cover itself. Come on, who does that? But it says especially priced 2 record set, including an 8-page color booklet. Anyway, enough of that one. Let's set it right here, I guess. So I grabbed the one that didn't have the sticker in the corner and started thumbing through it. And lo and behold, there it was. There it was. The booklet was right in there. So, okay. So what do you think of when you first see this cover? This cover is dynamite. Now, of course, it's a staged shot. That's a photo shoot basically. Um, but man, what a presence that is. What a picture to see that. And when I mean that, I mean those four guys right there. And that's look, I've seen Kiss many, many times, and that's pretty much it right there. However, this is definitely a stage shot because those guys, well, certainly in later years when they had a lot more money, they spent more time away from each other because the stages were so much bigger. But the funny thing is, a lot of people say, "Oh yeah, no, this definitely had to be a stage shot because Ace Frehley, his guitar is all backwards, turned upside down, those kind of things." Yeah, that is true. Um, I'm sure that it had to do with the fact that he's just holding the guitar there. He's just holding it, just turned it over. It's no big deal. And when you're, I think I was 11 when I got this album because I did not get it in 75. You don't even pay attention to those things. You just don't. So, when you take a look at the inner cover of this album, it opens up like so. Nice. Well, we can look at the back picture first. Let's look at the back picture. You see those two young guys holding up their homemade Kiss banner on the back. And those guys apparently, I mean, I've seen like posts, Facebook posts and all that kind of stuff. Apparently they still have that banner. They don't look anything like that now, but apparently they still have that banner. I've seen postings of it, and I just think that is so cool. Because that's iconic right there. Come on. You serious? That's great. Anyway, so let's open this thing up, and then I'll get into a little history on this too. So you open up the cover, and on the front side of it, you see, I shouldn't say the front side, but you open it up, and on your left, as you open it, because we always read from left to right, there's some notes from the guys in the band. They're supposed to be personal notes. And then on the right side here, they've got pictures of the first three studio releases. So, of course, they're going to continue to pitch, the Kiss stuff. And that's the way it is. But here's the thing I wanted to bring to your attention. First off, the album name itself, Alive with the exclamation point, was kind of an homage to um, to the band Slade. Slade had a live album called Slade Alive with the exclamation point. So this is kind of their homage or homage, whatever. Homage. We'll go with homage. All right. Sometimes you say you're paying homage to somebody, but then you say, oh, it's their homage, whatever. Anyway. So that was number one. And then two, that the album cover, especially the inner cover of the gatefold, I should say, of the album, was very much inspired by Uriah Heep's live album in January of '73. It came out 2 years prior. As I knock everything over. Gosh, I'm so professional here. Anyway, so let me get my spit screen. This is great. But that's why we record live. We record live. We go with it. No edits, no nothing, warts and all. So you open up the gatefold on this, and you'll see there's a little biography on each of the guys in Uriah Heep. Ergo, personal letters from the guys in Kiss, from each member of the band. And then you've got like an 8-page color booklet here of Uriah Heep, of the band. All right. You've got individual shots. Let's see. Yeah, you've got individual shots of the guys in the band. And then you've got one full stage shot from back up behind the band. So you've got that. Then Got more a collage of pictures here of the band, and then here you go, albums. You know, the back catalog of the band. So the difference here, though, is that this color booklet is actually stapled into the album cover itself, where the booklet for Kiss Alive came completely separate, and it's right here. So we just kind of see those comparisons. That's just beautiful. You pull that sucker out and look at that logo. That's just great stuff. Great stuff. And I'm glad I found this because I started to dig out my booklet, for my CD booklet, and that's just really, I mean, hard to see on camera here. So we open it up from left to right. We've got Gene Simmons looking menacing. Got Peter Criss behind his Pearl drum kit. Then let's see, what do we have? There we've got a collage of the band, all live shots, of course, or supposed to be live shots anyway. I love the fire on each side. I just think that's awesome. And when you're like 11 years old, you're looking at this stuff, you're going, oh man, that is so cool. Oh yeah, I didn't even realize there's a shot of Gene down here, right down here, spitting fire. I love it. That's great. Then you've got Paul Stanley and Ace Frehley. Now I'll say that. Oh, okay. Let's just go the back cover right there, and there's the band on stage. Okay, so very much inspired by Uriah Heep, 1973. But I will say here, this one shot of Ace Frehley, even from, I mean, at that point, I never paid attention. But as I got more into Kiss, like with, you know, the next few albums that I got, that one picture of Ace Frehley is the only picture of Ace Frehley that, in my estimation, it doesn't even look like him. It looks nothing like him. I don't know. Maybe he didn't show up for the photo shoot, but that's the only one. Every other picture that I have ever seen of Ace Frehley in the band, full makeup, all that stuff, always looks like him. This particular picture, I've never been sold on it. It's Ace. Maybe it's not. Who knows? All right. So let's get back to this gatefold on the Alive album. All right. I think, let me put my glasses on. This is cool. This is cool. And when you're a kid, you're 11 years old, and you're looking at this stuff here, and these are supposed to be little personal notes from the band, and this is supposed to be just, they're pouring themselves out to the fans and telling you how much they love you and all this kind of crazy stuff. So the first little note, and they're supposed to be all handwritten from each guy in the band, and they actually do look like, at least the signatures, the writing as well. If you have seen more writing from each member of the band as the years gone on, then you can say, yeah, they probably did write these. Let's see. The first one, Dear Earthlings, the gravity on Earth isn't quite the same as it is on my planet, but I'm slowly getting used to it. I always wanted to play lead guitar and express myself, usually to an audience. When I play guitar on stage, it's like making love. If you're good, you get off every time. Thanks for helping me get off. Love, Ace. I wish I could have injected that New York accent from Ace, that accent that he had, being from the Bronx, and his cackle too. Wish I could have done that. Can't do it. I'm not even going to attempt it. All right, next. Hi, cat people. Well, you should get your claws into this album. I know it's going to make your tails stand straight up. The cat himself stalked it from front to back, and it tested great. So all you alley cats and tomcats, rock your rolls right off. Or should I say tails? Love you, your silver-nosed tomcat, Peter Criss. I don't think I have read these since I was like 12. This is all new. again. All right. The third one, Dear Victims. Oh, I wonder who that's from. I love to do all those deliciously painful things to you that make you writhe and groan in ecstasy. My spiked 7-inch boot heels are at the ready should you be in the mood for heavy sport. And my mouth is there to tell you all horrible things you never thought you'd hear, but love hearing. I can see you from the corners of my eyes, and I know what to do when the lights go out. I bleed for you and breathe fire for you, and you wonder if I'm crazy. I am Gene Simmons. Okay. Uh, let's see. And last but not least, my dear lovers, nothing arouses me more than seeing you getting off on me. It makes me work that much harder to please you. My body is yours. Yours is mine. We explode together when I'm on stage. I'm yours. Take me, Paul Stanley. Oh, all right. Like I said, I don't think I've read those since maybe I was 12. Yeah, that's great. That is great stuff. All right, so this is where I heard all of the early stuff from Kiss. Was off of Alive before I actually heard any of the 3 studio albums prior to this. I heard all of this stuff on Kiss Alive. So, as a matter of fact, I believe Kiss Alive was the first album from the band that I got. And I didn't get, like I said, I didn't get it in 75. I think I got it in 76. I remember my uncle Scott having this album, and that's where I first heard it. And so I dug it, was able to get it, and then I think after that I actually got I think I got Destroyer, and then I went backwards and started to get the first 3 studio albums. I do remember putting on, dropping the needle on the debut album, and uh, Strutter's the first song, and it kicked in, and I was like, "What is this? Do I have the album on the wrong speed? Is there something slower than 33?" It just sounded horrible, horribly slow, and then even to my, 11, 12-year-old ears, I knew ugh, it wasn't for me. Obviously, I got used to it because it was my band. So I was gonna listen to all that stuff because, of course, it had songs on that album, on the subsequent album, Hotter Than Hell, and Dressed to Kill, that were not on Kiss Alive. So I put up with it. I dealt with it. But yeah, I just I don't know. I this definitely is a landmark album in music history, and let's go over the track listing first. Okay, it's just a landmark album. One, because like I said, this thing catapulted the band and put them into a stratosphere that made them the hottest band in the world. This was the one that did it. And so let's go through the track listing. Okay, so it starts off with that great J.R. Smalling introduction, and then it kicks right into Deuce. Deuce has been a show opener like since day one. If it's not Deuce, it's Detroit Rock City. Yes, I know there was some time in the 80s where either it was Detroit Rock City or Love Gun, but Deuce has been just a solid show opener for pretty much all 50 years that the band was out touring. So it starts off with Deuce, then it kicks into Strutter. Such a good song. And then of course has to go into Paul Stanley's stage raps, how y'all feel or something like that. How does this one go? I know he's had some incredible stage raps, and I sometimes I get them mixed up. But then it kicks into Got to Choose, one of my absolute favorite Kiss songs of all time. One of my favorites. Love that song. Love it, love it, love it, love it so much. It is so good. Then Hotter Than Hell, and then Firehouse. And Firehouse is the song that at the end Gene would spit fire or breathe fire, and it was all over. That was just great song to set that up. Then we flipped the album over. Yep, that's what we do, kiddies. Okay, that's what us old folks have always done, is turn the album over. You've Got Nothing to Lose to start off side 2, which, I think I've said this before. Nothing to Lose. Okay, I mean, it's a good song, and I like the fact that Peter takes the lead on this one, and but I don't know. It's just never been one of my favorites. I can take it or leave it. I don't know why. And then it kicks into another absolute favorite of mine. So catchy, so good. And this version here on Alive is better than the studio version, and it's Come On and Love Me. And if it was off the first album or Hotter Than Hell, you could definitely say, oh yeah, definitely better than the studio version. But because the change in producers on Dress to Kill, the production or the tempo was a little better. And the production, of course, was better. The sound was a little better. It seemed to be cleaner, even though at times I said it sounded, I don't want to say it sounded like it was in mono, but because it wasn't, but it kind of had that sound a little bit, but much better. But this version's great. Oh, so good. And then we kick into Parasite, a great song. Great song. And then an even better song. Side 2 ends with She, which is an extended version than the studio version from Dress to Kill, because it's got Ace's guitar solo at the end, which I think is, I think that was Acrobat, I think was the name of that guitar solo initially. I think that's what it was. I can't recall. It's just what happens when you get old. Then we take the album off and we have to put on album number 2. So we move to side 3. Opens up with a really cool song, Watching You. Really cool. Great Gene song. And then the legendary, the classic 100,000 Years. Every kid, every 10, 11, 12, 13, 14-year-old kid was just trying to emulate that drum solo. Peter Criss's great drum solo on 100,000 Years. It's legendary. What I liked about it, I liked the fact that the song was like, I don't know, I think it's like 12 minutes long, the entire song. And of course, on the debut album, it's 3.5. But this was a song where Peter could actually shine and brought this great drum solo, very tribal. The beats in it, very tribal. And I didn't realize that till much later. It just didn't click. But then you've got just all the legendary rapping from Paul Stanley. All right, how y'all doing? Or wait, how's that go? Let me see. I got a question for all you. How many people here like to party? Yeah. And then everyone screams. And he says, I got a question for all you people over here. I want to know how many people over here like to get high. And then they all scream. Of course. I got a question for all you people right over here. and I think he says something like, and that means you two up there or something like that. And then he says, what does he say? Wait, how's that go? How many people? Shoot, I just lost it. I don't know how. Oh gosh, I can't remember. I'm losing it right here live. But that's all right. But it's so great. And then, basically you gets into, uh oh gosh, what was it? Make some noise, whatever. How many people here like rock and roll or something? And they're all screaming. He says, "No, no, 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 no. I know you can do better than that. So we're gonna try it again. Now I want y'all to count your breath because here it comes. Yeah, ready, rock and roll." And then they all shout. Oh, I love it. I love it. It's so good. I know I completely screwed it up. And I say I'm a Kiss fan. Come on, really? Yeah. Anyhow. Um, so then we end that tremendous 100,000 years, and we roll right into Black Diamond. And that is so, it's just, and that again, that's another one of my favorite Kiss songs. That's probably you know, Deuce got to choose Black Diamond. Those are probably like top 5 Kiss songs for me of all time. They really are. Those are probably, all 3 of those are probably in the top 5. Um, Now I have to admit though, and I have before, this is not my favorite version of Black Diamond. It's a great version. It really is. But my favorite version of Black Diamond, and a lot of people aren't crazy about this one, is off of Kiss Alive 4 with the symphony. And I just think I think Peter's just going all out on that. And just maybe it's just because the sound of it seems to be bigger. Definitely with the full on orchestra, it just, I think it makes it sound even heavier. Gives it a grander sound, and I think that's why I enjoy it so much more. But I like Peter's vocals on that, his delivery. He's just, like I said, he's given everything he has, probably because he knows that his contract is up and he's going to be leaving the band. So, anyway, so that's side 3. Now, what do we got to do, kiddies? We got to flip the album over. We got to go grab it and turn it over. Then we start off side 4 with Rock Bottom. Love that song. I only wish that they had included the full intro on here. I don't know if they initially played it live and then just kind of edited out when they put the album together. But it is such a cool intro, and it should have just remained on, maybe, like I said, maybe they just didn't play it live, but it would have been really, really cool to hear that live. And then we get into the Great Cold Gin. How many people here? What is it? How many people here? It's tequila's the second one. I think it's like not like vodka. How many people here? I don't know. Whatever it is. I'm not gonna do that again. And then we get into Rock and Roll All Night, the live version, of course, which was released as a single on this album, and it actually did gain some traction. That one was kind of really what also helped this album out, was the live version of this song or I should say, of Rock and Roll All Night. That helped it along, and it's a great version. It is a great version. Not my favorite version of the song. My favorite version of this song is on Kiss Alive 3. Don't know why. It just is. I just like it better. I don't know. I think it was, I can't say. I think that was during a time when Kiss was bringing back some of the stuff from the from the 70s. Because during the whole 80s, they got away from a lot of the 70s songs, especially songs like Deuce and Rock and Roll All Night. A little bit, not much. Because you can see right here, Rock and Roll Night is not the last song on the album. So it wasn't even now it was an encore song because you can tell that they leave the stage or whatever after Cold Gin, and then they come back and they do Rock and Roll All Night. But it wasn't the closing song. The closing song on this album is Let Me Go Rock and Roll. So it didn't become like the last song in the set until much later. So anyway, but I Kiss Alive 3. That's the version for Rock and Roll All Night for me. That's the one. This album right here, like I said, it catapulted the band into like, the hottest band in the world. By 77, they were the hottest band in the world. Not only did it catapult the band into like worldwide success, and one of the biggest bands of all time, but without this album here, Casablanca Records, they would not have merged with a small indie company, a film company called Filmworks, and they would not have had two hit movies, which were The Deep and Midnight Express. Yeah. So this album saved the label. Okay. Undoubtedly saved Casablanca Records. But did you know? Did you know that the success of Kiss Alive can be linked to the rise of disco? Bet you didn't know that. I almost knocked the microphone over again. But I'll bet you didn't know that. Because without this album, without the success of Kiss Alive, the likes of Donna Summer, The Village People, Lips Inc., Parliament, and several others, they may not have ever been heard from. I mean, who knows? So it's just crazy to think about that, right? It's crazy because you had some of the biggest disco acts on Casablanca Records. I think even Cher had a contract. I think she was signed by Casablanca for a period of time as well, but I'm not considering her disco. So, I just wanted to share a little bit about Kiss Alive in this album and that how it celebrates 50 years. 50 years. Can you believe that? I cannot believe that. 50 years. And the songs still sound so good. Admittedly, if you'll have to go back, way back in the history of this podcast and listen to my ranking of the Kiss Live albums. I'm not going to tell you where this one ranks, but you should, especially since we're celebrating Kiss Alive and we're celebrating the, live albums. It's a good one. There's a lot of good stuff in there. And we talk about 6 live albums in the Kiss catalog. Some of you may not even know that there were 6 live albums in the Kiss catalog. And I'm not counting Kiss Instant Live that you got at the show, or what was the other one? There was another company that did it as well. I'm not even counting those. But great album, great songs, an incredibly important album in history, because without it, the record company goes belly up, and because there was very little success in record sales with Kiss, who knows? They may not have been picked up by another record company. You never know. So it's just the way things work out. And thanks to Kiss Alive, we got 50 more years of this band. and a lot of good stuff. Just a great catalog, and a lot of good stuff for us Kiss fans to really, really dive into and enjoy. So, yeah, there you go. Kiss Alive turning 50. Okay. We're going to close up shop right here. But before I let you go, I want to remind you all that Saturday, October 4th, I'm going to say it every episode. Mark it on your calendars. Mark Saturday, October 4th on your calendars, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Be a live stream in this studio with Sheriff Chad Bianco. Okay. 2026 gubernatorial candidate. All right. He's going to be live in this, right in that chair there. We are going to be just 2 feet from each other. 2 feet. It's going to be great. So I want you all here. I want you to have your questions lined up, your comments lined up, whatever it is. Okay. Yeah. So with that, we're out of here. Okay. Again, and as you know, this program is available wherever you get your podcasts. Just search the Ben Maynard program. Boom, it's right there. And subscribe to it. You get notifications every time a new episode drops. Next, if you can't resist this, and if you're watching, you definitely can't resist. So thanks for watching on YouTube, but you have to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and get it done, all right? Then you got to give me a thumbs up, and you got to leave a comment. And leave some comments on this album right here. Come on. I know you guys have something to say on Kiss Alive. So let's get that done. And then you have to tell 1,000 of your family and friends. Okay. Just 1,000. Cause 1,000. I know I asked a lot with the 10,000 thing, but I backed off because it's hard. I don't even know 10,000 people. So 1,000 of your family and friends, you got to tell them about this podcast, and you got to tell them to do the same thing you're doing, which is subscribing to this. Okay. Last but not least, follow me on Instagram, all one word, Ben Maynard Program, or follow me on TikTok or both, the Ben Maynard Program. That's the handle there. All right. So in and out. All right. We're done. I appreciate you being here, spending some time celebrating this right here, this wonderful album, Kiss Alive, which turns 50. Can you believe it? No way. Anyway, thanks again. I'll see you next time. This is the Ben Maynard Program. Tell a friend.